Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving deep into a topic that I think affects almost everyone learning a language. How do you get past just, knowing the grammar rules and actually start to speak English with confidence?
Naturally.
That is the ultimate goal, isn't it? To sound like yourself, just in a different language.
Right. And that journey from being an advanced learner to actually feeling fluent, it can feel impossible. But our sources today make a really powerful argument that it's just a few simple habits away.
And that's such a relief to hear, because the common assumption is you need some huge life-changing event.
Like moving abroad.
Exactly.
Oh,
like
wow.
you have to move across the world to finally get there.
Absolutely. And the core insight from all our material is that you don't need to spend thousands on plane tickets. You don't need to enroll in, endless rigid courses.
Yeah.
The dream of speaking naturally, and I want to stress, not perfectly like a textbook, but genuinely like a real person. It's all about the right daily habits. Yes. And the analogy the source material uses is just fantastic. It really sticks in your head. The secret is making English part of your life. Like brushing your teeth.
I love that.
It's just a non-negotiable part of your routine. You don't debate brushing your teeth, you just do it. And we need that same kind of low-friction consistency with language.
That comparison is so important, because I think most learners equate learning a language with this intense academic study.
Yes, this feeling of obligation.
They feel like they have to block out 2 hours every Saturday just to cram vocabulary.
And that's the trap. That overwhelming intensity, it just leads to burnout. You can't keep it up.
Of course not.
So this deep dive is all about showing you that consistency, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes, is so much more powerful than intensity. It's about, leveraging your brain's neuroplasticity through daily repetition.
So we've distilled these habits into 3 really actionable categories for you. First, how you train the physical mechanism, your mouth, your ears.
The mechanics of it all.
Second, how you integrate English into your actual environment. And then finally, the really crucial part, the mindset that dictates whether you succeed or not.
So let's jump in with that physical practice.
Perfect. We're going to start with one of the most effective, but maybe one of the strangest feeling techniques, which is shadowing.
Ah, yes.
For anyone who doesn't know, shadowing is basically listening to someone speak English and you immediately repeat what they say. You're like an echo.
Almost at the same time.
Almost simultaneously, yeah.
And what's so fascinating here is why it works so well. You're not just copying words, you're kind of bypassing that whole cognitive step of translating and analyzing grammar.
Right.
You're engaging motor memory. You're copying the whole package, the sounds, the rhythm, the flow, the way sentences connect.
So instead of trying to remember a rule that says, oh, the stress falls on the first syllable here, you're just physically training your mouth and your ears together to feel where the stress goes.
It's muscular training for your voice.
Yeah.
Precisely. If you only study rules, you still sound hesitant when you open your mouth. Shadowing forces a kind of fluency because you're just focused on the sound. It trains the ears and mouth to sync up.
I can imagine it feels really strange at first, though. Like your tongue is trying to do something it's never done before. It's probably physically tiring.
It is. You have to accept the weirdness, and you keep the time commitment really small.
Oh, what?
The sources all emphasize you only need to do this for, say, 5 to 10 minutes a day to see real progress in your intonation and your rhythm.
Just 5 minutes.
Just 5 minutes. Start with simple, clear audio. You're not trying to understand complex ideas. You're just focused on sound.
So we've talked about pure imitation with shadowing.
Yeah.
But what about when a learner is ready to start, generating language themselves? That feels like a huge jump.
It is a huge jump, and the sources give us a brilliant bridge for that, reading aloud. It's not just reading, it's applying that same motor training we just talked about, but to a structured text. So you get to practice sentence structure while also focusing on delivery.
So how do we make reading aloud more than just reading with sound? What's the trick to make it effective?
The trick is a very conscious 2-step method. First, you read a short text slowly. You're only focusing on clear pronunciation, every single sound.
Like laying the foundation.
Exactly, like an architect making sure every single brick is perfectly placed.
And the second step.
Then you read it again, but this time with genuine emotion and flow. Almost like you're an actor performing a scene. You're trying to deliver the meaning, not just pronounce the words.
I can see how that would push you past just saying words and into actual dynamic speaking.
It forces you to connect the ideas at speed.
And that brings us to the final actionable step in this part, which is one I think a lot of people avoid.
Oh, yes.
recording yourself.
It feels incredibly awkward, but it is so, so valuable because you're finally hearing yourself the way other people hear you.
You're removing that internal filter.
Absolutely. When we're speaking, our brain is so busy thinking of the next word that we completely miss our own little delivery quirks or mistakes. You need that objective feedback.
And you don't need a fancy studio, right? Just a voice memo app on your phone.
That's all you need. And the challenge here is very specific. Do a 1-minute recording once a week. Talk about anything, your day, your plans, save it.
And
After 1 month, compare them. That tangible evidence of your own improvement is the single greatest motivator you can have. It replaces a vague sense of hope with actual data.
that's building confidence with proof. Okay, let's shift from training the mouth to training the brain through environmental immersion. Our sources are crystal clear on this.
What's the rule?
Listening is the foundation of all language learning, period.
It makes perfect sense if you think about how we learn our first language. Babies listen for months, sometimes over a year, before they say a single coherent word.
Right.
So if you want your output, your speaking, to be rich and confident, your input, your listening has to be constant.
And again, we hit that time constraint problem. People think this means sitting down with headphones for dedicated study.
But it doesn't.
No. You just use the time you already have. Your commute to work, doing the dishes, cooking dinner. Those are perfect little pockets of time for an English podcast or some news.
And here's the crucial thing, the thing that stops people.
Yeah.
You don't have to understand everything.
That's a big one.
It is. The sources say that even if you only have 40% comprehension, your brain is still adjusting to the rhythm, the sounds, the entire acoustic map of English. You're learning how the language flows, even if you're missing some words.
But for that learner who's, perfectionist, won't that low comprehension feel like a waste of time?
That's a great question because it gets at that mindset trap. If you wait until you understand 100% of a real conversation, you'll wait forever.
You'll never start.
Never. That 40% rule means your brain is actively working. It's learning to predict sentence structures. It's spotting common words. And if you listen to the same podcast episode a few times, you'll notice that percentage creeps up each time, which is incredibly rewarding.
Minimizing friction. That's a perfect segue into this next idea of actually living with English daily, making your home your classroom.
This is about making the language inescapable so it stops feeling like a subject you study and starts feeling like a tool you use.
We have some really simple, specific examples here that you could do, like this afternoon.
Start small. Change your phone's language to English.
That's a good one.
Write your shopping list in English. You can even get some sticky notes and just label things around your house. Mirror, door, table. You're just constantly reinforcing those basic words.
Or for writing, something that feels less intimidating than a big essay. Keep a tiny diary. Just 3 sentences a day. What did you do? How did you feel? What's the plan for tomorrow? Short, simple, consistent.
And of course, use your fun time. Watch that show you love, but in English this time. Scroll social media in English. Just make it the background noise of your life. That's when it stops feeling like effort.
Okay, so we've trained the mouth and ears and we've soaked our environment in English. Now we have to tackle the biggest hurdle, the one that lives inside your head, thinking in English.
This is the thing. This is what truly separates a fluent speaker from an advanced learner who still hesitates.
Why is that?
Because most learners are constantly translating. They hear something in English, translate it to their native language, think of a reply, translate that back into English, and then speak.
That whole loop is just too slow for a real conversation. It's why you feel like you're always a beat behind everyone else.
It's neurologically exhausting, and when you finally cut out that middle step, you free up so much mental energy. Your brain can just focus on the message, on the connection.
So how do we break that habit? It feels so ingrained.
You start really, really small. You just narrate your daily life silently in your head. Simple, declarative statements about your immediate reality. I am sitting at my desk. I'm drinking coffee. The coffee is hot. Just describe what you see and do.
You're not trying to think about abstract philosophy.
Not at all. You're just training your brain to form a basic English sentence automatically without translation. And the sources say, if you do this for just a few 5-minute chunks a day, after a week or two, something amazing happens.
Okay.
You'll notice English thoughts just start to pop into your head on their own, without effort. It becomes the default language for your internal monologue.
That is a massive shift. And it leads us perfectly into our last, and I would argue, most important section, mindset.
Yes, because at the end of the day, your mindset determines whether you actually stick with any of these 5-minute habits. And the core principle is simple. Language learning is all about consistency, not perfection.
Let's hit that comparison again because it's so powerful. Why is 5 minutes every day so much better than 1 big hour a week?
Because that 1 hour feels like a huge chore. It's easy to put off. It's easy to get distracted. 5 minutes, you can't make an excuse to skip 5 minutes.
Right.
And neurologically, those 5 minutes trigger the language centers in your brain 30 times a month. That 1 big hour, it only triggers them 4 times. Daily repetition builds permanent pathways. Weekly intensity just gives you temporary stress.
And a big part of that stress comes from mistakes. They're the biggest killer of confidence.
They shouldn't be. We have to completely reframe how we think about mistakes. They aren't failures, they are teachers.
They're daily.
They are pure data. Every mistake tells you something. If you're not making mistakes, that means you're not pushing yourself, you're not growing.
We also have to remind you listening. Native speakers make mistakes all the time.
Yeah.
Every single day. We use the wrong word, our grammar gets messy. Language is for connection, it's not a math exam.
That's the ultimate confidence booster right there. Confidence matters so much more than perfect grammar. If people understand you, if you're connecting with them, you are succeeding. Prioritize that connection over constant self-correction.
This has been so actionable. I feel like we've given you a clear roadmap. Let's do a quick recap of the 6 daily habits we covered.
We had shadowing for physical training.
We had reading aloud to bridge that gap to production.
Constant listening for building that foundation.
Living with English daily through those small environmental changes.
Thinking in English to kill that translation loop.
And finally, a mindset of consistency over perfection.
That's it.
So here's your challenge. Choose one of those habits.
Yeah.
Just one. The one that resonated with you the most. Maybe it's putting 3 sticky notes on things in your kitchen. Maybe it's setting a 5-minute timer for shadowing.
Just one.
And do that one thing every single day for the next week.
And just remember that mantra. Small steps every day lead to big, big change. Your English is growing right now inside your brain, even when you can't see the progress on the outside.
Which leaves you with a final thought to consider. Think about how many of those tiny daily decisions, like choosing to think in English while you make coffee or writing 1 sentence in your diary, how all of those stack up over a month. Compare that to waiting for that one single perfect hour-long study session that might never even happen. The small wins always prevail because they build a system that sustains itself.
Start small, stay consistent. We'll check back in soon.
Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something that can totally transform your English speaking ability. And here's the secret. It's not about expensive classes or some huge life change. It's all about simple, powerful daily habits that, you can start literally right now. So let's just dive right into this idea. This quote, it really hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? The real goal isn't to sound like a walking dictionary. It's about connecting with people, sharing who you are, and just feeling comfortable. We're aiming for confidence over perfection. That is our target.
And you want to know the best part? That dream is so much closer than you think. There's this big myth out there that you have to move to an English-speaking country or spend a ton of money to get fluent. But honestly, the real secret ingredient is just consistency. It's about building small, smart habits into the life you already have.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll lock in our goal, the dream of confidence. Then we'll get into the physical stuff, how to train your voice. After that, it's all about the mental game, building an English brain. Then we'll cover the one habit that makes all the others work. And we'll wrap up with a super simple challenge to get you going. Okay, so let's start with that first big idea, the dream. We have to be crystal clear on what we're aiming for, because every single thing we talk about today is designed to build that amazing feeling of natural, easy confidence whenever you speak. Now, what's really interesting is that speaking is a physical act. Seriously, you've got to train your mouth, your tongue, your ears, just like an athlete trains their body. And we're going to start with this fantastic technique for that. It's something all the pros use to sound more native. It's called shadowing. Shadowing is, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. You follow a native speaker's voice as closely as you can, like you're their shadow. And this isn't just about getting the words right. You're actively training your mouth to pick up the rhythm, the intonation, the actual music of the English language, all at the same time. The process itself is so simple. You just listen and you echo. Now, a quick heads up, this is going to feel a little weird at first, and that's totally okay. It's supposed to. The key is just to do it for a few minutes every day. You'll be amazed at how fast your mouth starts to feel more at home with English sounds. And to build on that, here are 2 more little habits for your voice. First, just try reading simple things out loud. This really helps connect the English you see with the English you actually speak. And to really see how far you've come, record yourself for just 1 minute a week. I know, listening back can feel a little cringy, but trust me, it's the absolute best way to hear your own progress. Okay, so we've trained the mouth, now let's train the mind. This whole section is about immersion. It's about turning your brain into a place where English actually lives, not just a place you visit when you have to speak. The absolute bedrock of any language is listening. I mean, think about it. That's how every single one of us learned our first language. And the great news is you don't need to find extra time for this. Just use the time you already have. Turn your commute, your time at the gym, or your time doing chores into an English listening session. Podcasts, music, whatever. And get this, because this might surprise you. You don't have to understand 100% of what you hear. Not even close. Even if you only catch, say, 40%, your brain is still doing incredible work. It's absorbing the sounds, the rhythm, the patterns. It's learning in the background, even when you're not trying. Okay, let's talk about one of the biggest roadblocks for so many learners, translating. When you think in your native language first and then try to translate it into English, man, it is slow, it's clunky, and it's exhausting. The goal is to skip that step entirely and just start having the thoughts directly in English. So, how do you even do that? You start small. You become the narrator of your own life. Seriously, as you go about your day, just describe what you're doing inside your head. I am making coffee. This coffee smells good. Now I'm walking to my desk. It trains your brain to just create English sentences on its own. No translation needed. And you can take this even further by changing your environment. These are some super simple life hacks to turn your home into an English immersion course. Switch your phone's language. Write your grocery list in English. You can even stick little labels on things around the house. Mirror, table, window. It creates this constant, super low pressure exposure to the language. So we've covered physical habits, we've covered mental habits, but honestly, none of them will stick without this next part. This is the glue. It's not what you do, it's all about how you think about what you do. It's your mindset. This slide just lays it out so perfectly. On the one side, you have that old mindset that's all about pressure, right? Trying to be perfect, feeling guilty if you don't study for hours, being terrified of mistakes. But the new mindset, that's where the magic is. It's about connection, consistency, and curiosity. It's about 5 good minutes a day and seeing mistakes not as failures, but as teachers. Let this idea really sink in. Native speakers mess up words, use clunky grammar, and forget things all the time. Language is a tool for connection. If the other person understands your message, you have won. It is that simple. All right, time to put all of this into practice. Let's take all this knowledge and turn it into real, actual action with a simple 7-day challenge. So, here's a super quick recap of the powerful habits we've talked about. We've got shadowing for your voice, listening daily for your ear, thinking in English for your brain, reading aloud to connect all the skills, and living with English to just surround yourself with it. So here it is, your mission. And it's designed to be so achievable. Please don't try to do everything at once. Just choose one of these habits, whichever one sounds most interesting or, easiest for you to start with. And then just commit to doing it for a few minutes every single day for 1 week. That's it. And that brings us to our final and maybe most important question. Just take a look at those habits one more time. What is the one habit you will start today? Because making that choice right now, that's the first real step. That's where you go from just learning about this to actually doing it. And that is where real confidence is built.